Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, nerds! How are you? I'm doing so good because today I have a big announcement to make that I've been keeping a secret from you, and I'm just really excited to finally be able to reveal what I've been working on. So if you've listened to my podcast for at least the last year and a half, you know that there was some healing to do in the last year. I left a long-term relationship a little bit more than a year ago. And with that, I slowed down. I had a group coaching program before called Brave and Bold. But with my separation, I put that on pause. And I spent the last year just working with one-on-one clients. But now my energy is back and I decided to go back to my first love, which is group coaching. So today I'm introducing you to the Confident Nerd School, a 6-month program to stop playing small and finally go after your biggest ambitions alongside a small group of creative weirdos just like you and me. So since getting certified as a coach, I have helped more than 100 clients develop the courage to own their truth. And now I have gathered all of this expertise and all of my most powerful tools in one place. This program is for you if your life feels boring and, more average than you had hoped it would be. That was me like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I remember hiding in the toilets at work, wondering if there was more to life than just endless weeks of 9 to 5. Like by Tuesday at lunch, I thought, this is long. I don't really want to be here. The projects I'm working on, I just struggle to care about them. I felt guilty about that. I was like, you've got everything. You should be grateful. But it just didn't feel meaningful enough. And I was looking at other people who were doing things that I wanted to do, like starting a business, writing a book, and I just felt annoyed because I felt like they were just as smart as me, as some of them less, honestly, and they were just passing me by, and I just felt stuck in this hole of self-doubt, kind of just showing little parts of who I was and hiding my big ambitions because I was scared to own them. I was scared that people would think I was delusional or entitled, that I was like a princess for wanting more out of life. And then when I first discovered coaching, all of that started to change. The first time that I dipped my toe in the pool of coaching was my friend introduced me to the podcast Unfuck Your Brain by Cara Lowenthal. And it's because of her that I went to through hike the Pacific Crest Trail, because she said, what would you do if you were willing to be uncomfortable? And she was not talking about like physical discomfort. She was referring to emotional discomfort, because my fear was, I was so afraid of going out there and failing. And she made me question that. She was like, so what? So what? You would have at least tried. You would have given it a go. And that was the beginning of my transformation. When I got home from the PCT, I hired a coach. And while I was working with her, I started a business helping people get ready for a thru hike. And from there, I decided to get certified as a coach so that I could help them with more than just that. So I could help them with big life changes and reaching other types of goals so that I could have the tools to help them move through their obstacles. And now I've completely switched careers. I used to be a designer and illustrator. Now I'm a full-time coach. I feel like my work has so much more impact. I feel more fulfilled. I also have so much more flexibility. It doesn't feel like a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 kind of week. I just work when I want to and where I want to. I've also had the courage to leave a relationship that I knew in my core was, it was good, but there was something missing. And now I've met the partner that I've wished for all these years. And I've also come out as queer, and I've started exploring the world of kink in the last year and ethical non-monogamy as well. Basically, what's happened is I used to be kind of a wallflower, didn't really know who I was and what I wanted. I was okay. I was happy enough. My life was fine, but I was just scared that I was missing out, that I would get old and not have many stories to tell. And I wanted to feel proud, I wanted to feel like I had taken full advantage of my life. But I was just lost in what other people expected of me. I didn't really know what I wanted. And I got overwhelmed when thinking about all the possibilities. I didn't want to make the wrong choice. And then sometimes I started a bunch of things, but I didn't really follow through on any of them. But now I've become extremely clear about who I am and where I'm going. I'm honest about what I want and relentless in the pursuit of my ambitions. And that's made me feel so much more alive and fulfilled. Now, I'm going to tell you when the biggest shift happened. For me, it was when I started questioning everything I thought was impossible for a dork like me. That's how I used to see myself, kind of a dork, like an artsy, clumsy dork. And while I might have been, for example, interested in business, I was like, well, I don't have the grit and the drive and the power to do such a thing. But then coaching introduced the notion of, maybe I actually could. Maybe I could hike the Pacific Crest Trail, even though I'm far from being an athlete. Maybe I could start a coaching business, even though that would mean completely changing career, going back to school, and doing something that I have no idea how to do. I started telling myself, maybe I could figure it out. And then I decided to actually try instead of worry. And with that shift is how I started to completely transform my life one step at a time. And I want to tell you the 3 skills I had to master in order to get there. And those 3 skills are what I'm going to teach you in the Confident Nerd School and what you will spend 6 months developing. Okay? So the first one is self-knowledge and a soul-stirring vision. This one is all about reconnecting to your inner voice and getting real clear on who you are, what you're naturally drawn to, and what you're meant to do in this world, what your unique contribution can be, rather than what has been expected of you, what you've been told that you're good at, and what made sense, like, oh, you should just go study engineering because that's what your parents did and you're kind of good in maths. No. We want to get to the core of you and figuring out how you can fulfill your purpose, because that's going to light up a much deeper sense of meaning and a stronger internal drive to move forward and overcome fear and obstacles on the journey. So that's the first skill. Instead of feeling like you're just another fish in the sea, you need to know what you bring to the party and how to use these gifts. The second skill is emotional tolerance to uncertainty. This is all about increasing your nervous system capacity to take risks. That is important because it will allow you to get out of stagnation and make decisions that are aligned with your truth, no matter how scary, because you know deep down that you can recover after setbacks. Chances are that right now you tend to make safe decisions, because you're afraid that you wouldn't be able to deal with the potential risk of failure, disappointment, or embarrassment. And the goal here is to expand your emotional tolerance to that possibility, that you know that whatever happens, you're going to be okay, really. You're going to be okay on the inside, and you're going to figure it out on the outside as well. I'm going to help you get to a place where you feel like you can take risks without sacrificing your inner stability, where you can have like a calm seat on the inside, even though you're making big moves and taking chances on the outside. That is skill number 2, emotional tolerance to uncertainty. And finally, the third one, the last one, is grounded, drama-free thinking. This is developing the ability to separate facts from fears. This will allow you to reduce anxiety and to navigate challenges with a clear mind. Because what often happens is we're dramatic. We're dramatic and we focus on the worst case scenario, everything that could go wrong. And that means we don't even start, or we stop really quickly because of what we focus on. We get overwhelmed by the stories that we tell ourselves. So it's really important to be able to develop this ability to think more neutrally, to think with your feet on the ground. Otherwise, you're going to be freaked out all the time and get exhausted really quickly. So these are the 3 skills I've developed in the last 5 years that have allowed me to change my life. And that's what I'm going to teach in the Confident Nerd School. What I learned in 5 years, I will teach you in 6 months. Okay? So imagine being so clear and unapologetic about where you're going with your life that other people's opinions are just information that's more or less relevant depending on how important they are in your life. You no longer need to constantly ask for advice or permission. You know where you're going and you're moving forward. You also trust your inner voice so deeply that you can make scary decisions in your personal, professional, and financial life without completely freaking out. And you are able to try new things and to follow through on what you start because you put yourself first without feeling guilty, and you're not an asshole to yourself when you make mistakes. Okay, I'm going to give you examples of what this could look like. This could look like your intuition telling you to leave your job or to leave your relationship, and you actually listen. You're able to do it without excessive anxiety because you trust that there's something more aligned around the corner. This might also look like wanting to write a book or to start a podcast and doing it without too much worry about what people will think and whether or not you're good enough, because the creative process is just fun for you and you know that you need to kind of suck at it before you can be great. And lastly, one last example, you believe your work is worth a higher salary, so you just go in, have an honest discussion with your employer. You focus on expressing the value of your work and coming up with a mutually beneficial agreement without making it personal, without making it emotional. Last year, I had a client get a $30,000 raise, and she said she would never have asked if it was not from the tools she learned in coaching. This bold expansion is accessible for you as well. It's right on the other side of your fears. And what's going to help you move through your fears is the 3 skills I'm teaching in the Confident Nerd School. Okay? The Confident Nerd School, let's get into the details, is an intimate small group experience. There's a maximum of 15 participants in the cohort. It's 6 months of weekly coaching and lifetime access to the lessons that I teach. What's different about the Confident Nerd School in comparison to, let's say, some forms of therapy or other personal development programs is that it is action-focused. So you will learn to manage your fears as you go out there, try new things, mess up, try again with the support of me and your peers. And this is how you become unstoppable. Not by working on improving yourselves in the safety of your home until you feel ready enough to step onto the field. No, we're going to step onto the field or the arena, like Brené Brown says, and learn to work with our fears while we're there, while we're in the thick of it, with the tools that I'm going to teach you and with the other members in the group who are on the same journey and coming together every week to work through everyone's challenges and keep ourselves accountable. Now let's talk about what it's going to look like month by month. In the first month, you will start by having an honest, humbling look at your current state and deeply understanding what is instead of numbing or running away. When people start working with me, sometimes they're used to, I had a client say, after work, I would get home and I would just smoke weed while I played Zelda on the couch. So what we will do in month 1 is take full ownership of what's going on and what our responsibility is in the life we have created for ourselves. We don't want to rush to a better place. Actually, you're not going to end up in a better place if you cannot relax here and deeply understand what's been getting in your way. So let's say you feel behind in life. Maybe you wish you would have had a fancier career by now, or you would have had more money saved up. That's okay. We're going to tell the truth about how we feel, but we're not going to dramatize the situation either. We need to unshame in order to get really clear about what happened and the ways in which we need to up-level. Because what happens is when you're judging yourself, you get stuck in inaction. If, for example, you keep telling yourself the story that you've made a bunch of bad decisions, that's going to make you feel shame. And when we feel shame, we just want to hide under the covers and binge Netflix. We're not in a place where we can actually take action to change our lives. So month 1, we have an objective look at your current life. We remove the shame and figure out what are the obstacles that need to be worked through in order for you to have the life that you want. Then in month 2, we're going to reconnect with your core, with your inner voice, and start dreaming big. The next step here is going to be to practice sharing your real desires within the safety of the group. You're going to start rehearsing your truth before taking real life action. Let's say you want to be a rich artist, an award-winning creative director, a best-selling author. You're going to say it loud and proud. It's kind of like trying on new clothing, like higher quality clothing that represent the person that you want to become. Okay, we're going to try it on and start putting ourselves in this state of being without thinking about the how or the obstacles on the way there. Okay, this space for dreaming is essential to reconnecting with the inner voice that you have been neglecting, for some of you, for most of your adult life. So we want to get back to who you really are and practice listening to that whisper. What's that whisper telling us? Because that's how we're going to commit together to living our lives from our core instead of based on what society expects of us, or instead of being driven by our fears. In month 2, you're also going to explore who you are, what lights you up, what you value most, what you're good at, and what you can, like I was telling you earlier, the unique contribution that you can make to the world when you listen to what's present in you instead of letting your inner critic lead the way. So once you have reclaimed your power, once you have a better understanding of where you are, who you are, where you want to go, we're going to move into month 3 and make bold decisions. I'm going to teach you the art of decisiveness, because confusion and procrastination are just fancy forms of fear. So I'll teach you how to deconstruct those fears that come up so that you can make aligned choices for your life without hesitation. You will take all of the possibilities that we brainstormed in month 2 and distill them into 3 concrete goals that you're going to focus on in the next 3 months, as well as an action plan that's going to, yes, push your limits while also feeling sustainable and unique to you. That is month 3. Like, we're preparing the parachute in order to jump. We're working on the last little details before we take action. And then we move into months 4, 5, and 6. The second half of the program is all about jumping into a playful iteration process and learning to regulate our emotions outside our comfort zones while we're taking action on the field. You will try new things. You will make bold requests. You will take chances. You'll be expected to get it wrong. Because you know what? The faster you fail, the faster you learn and build resilience. Confidence comes when you realize that whatever happens, you can cope just fine when you have the right tools and the right people supporting you on the journey. So this gives you an idea of what the program will be like. And so if you are ready to define your unique vision and develop the emotional and the mental strength to finally discover who you are on the other side of fear, then apply for the Confident Nerd School. You can go to selfgrowthnerds.com/school, where you can read about all the details and click on the application button, fill in the application form. I'm going to review it and I'm going to get back to you within 1, 2, or 3 days max and tell you if you're accepted. Now, please be aware that there's a maximum of 15 participants in the group. So if that interests you, apply as soon as you can. We start on June 18th, okay? And it goes all the way to December 18th, so the end of the year. We'll be together for the second half of the year. We'll be meeting every week in group coaching calls. If you want to know what it's like to work with me, what my coaching is like, there is a video on the page with clients telling you more about their experience. So there's going to be group coaching every week. You'll be in a private WhatsApp group with the other participants. You'll have accountability partners that change every 2 months that you can do your work with. And you'll get real close with the other members. That's what I've been told in the past. That's one of the best thing about a group coaching program is the group, the people that you meet that push you to raise your standards and to show up for yourself because you're all in this together. And lastly, there's also the curriculum that you can move through at your own pace. There's a bunch of lessons and tools that you can use. There's going to be workshops as well. And all of that you will have lifetime access to. So go check it out. The cost of the program is also on the page. There's 2 options. There's a group-only option, and you can also have a one-on-one add-on if you want one-on-one sessions with me. There's a bonus if you join before June 1st. You're going to get a free 90-minute intensive purpose session with me, where we're going to dive into the turning points of your personal history, what lights you up more than most, and the areas where you can make the most impact so we can define what your unique purpose is. So that's a bonus that you get if you join us before June 1st. So that's it for today. Go get all the details on selfgrowthnerds.com/school. And let me know, just reach out on Instagram if you have any questions. I'm at selfgrowthnerds on Instagram, and I'll be happy to chat. If you've never worked with a coach before, it makes a lot of sense that you would be hesitant because you have no idea what to expect, right? It's not something that we hear about a lot. So don't hesitate to come and share your concerns with me. Personally, the first way in which coaching has had an impact in my life, so before I even considered this as a career for myself, when I hired my first coach, one of the ways that she helped me is that she saw the most powerful version of me, of who I could become, and she held that vision until I was brave enough to meet her there. Actually, she taught me how to get there, and she was next to me as I was taking the steps. And this is what the Confident Nerd School is about. It's a 6-month container to uncover and rehearse who you can become on the other side of confusion, procrastination, overwhelm, who you can become when you're in alignment with your truth. I'm going to teach you the skills to get there, and then I'm going to walk alongside you as you take those courageous steps. So if you want to spend the second half of 2024 breaking out of the risk-averse and fear-driven feelings you've been following before they become too ingrained in your life, then go apply at selfgrowthnerds.com/school. Okay, have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. If you love what you're hearing on the Self-Growth Nerds podcast and you want individual help finding a new direction for your life and developing the courage to make your dreams a reality, you have to check out how we can work together on selfgrowthnerds.com or message me on Instagram at selfgrowthnerds. My clients say they would have needed that support years ago. So if you're tired of feeling like you're wasting your life, don't wait. Get in touch now, and I cannot wait to meet you.